Welcome to Legion Builds, where I guide you on how to bring fictional characters into Dungeons & Dragons. This video and all my content is made possible by my Patreon supporters, and it's dedicated to everyone who subscribes to my channel. All of you are the reason I do this. Today, we're not building a character, but an archetype, the Gun Fu Hero. Right after I started this channel, I got a request for a really cool character, but the problem was they only appeared for about 30 seconds and then they died. Not much to go on there, except for the fact that they were an acrobatic Gung Fu fighter. Gung Fu is a martial arts that utilizes firearms and combines it with fast reflexes and amazing acrobatic feats. So let's do it. For today's build, we'll be using the Player's Handbook, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and Xanathar's Guide to Everything. We're using standard point array to keep things all neat and tidy, and we are multi-classing, so keep an eye on those stat minimums should you use another system. We'll start things off with the most important stat and bring Dex in at 15. Accuracy, reflexes, and acrobatics all in there. Wisdom flies in with 14. For the massive gunfights Gung Fu fighters take part in, you'll need equally massive reflexes to maintain yourself. Con comes next at 13. We'll need something here because the classes we'll be using do not offer anything in health. Strength will be a 12. You'll need some athleticism to pull off everything that you do. Intelligence will be low with a 10, and we're dumping charisma. Why do I keep making builds that drop those two stats? Don't you people want to play smart characters that everyone loves? Gun Fu fighters could be anything, but for this to work we need a feat, so we're going with custom lineage. Place +2 into wisdom. For your feat, Gunner from Tasha's adds +1 to Dex and grants you proficiency in firearms. When using firearms, you can now ignore loading properties, and being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage. Basically, you can fire from the hip. With custom lineage, you can choose between dark vision or a free skill. I'm taking neither because I don't care. Finally, to finish out your lineage, you know common and one other language. For background, grab the skills Stealth and Insight. You'll need some tool proficiencies to make and maintain guns, so talk to your DM and work with them to figure out what you need, or just take a few more languages. If your campaign has no place for firearms, replace Gunner with Crossbow Expert and adjust stats accordingly. Level 1 rogues start off with 4 skills. Take acrobatics, athletics, perception, and sleight of hand. You are proficient with simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapier, short swords, light armor, and thieves' tools. For your saves, you're proficient with dex and intelligence. Expertise lets you choose 2 skills you have and double your proficiency bonus to them. Place this into acrobatics and athletics. Sneak attack lets you add bonus damage once per turn while wielding a finesse or ranged weapon, while you have advantage or the target is within 5 feet of an enemy. This starts off at a D6, but will upgrade over time. Thieves' Cant is a secret language of gestures, phrases, and symbols. Level 1 Monk, begin with Unarmored Defense. Now when not wearing armor, your AC is 10 plus Dex plus Wisdom. Martial Arts improves your unarmed strikes and simple melee weapons. Now when not wearing armor, your unarmed strikes and simple melee weapons can now use your Dex for attack and damage. You can make an unarmed strike with a bonus action after taking the attack action, and your unarmed strikes and simple melee weapons can use a martial arts dice for damage. This starts off at a D4, but will get better. Now I should say, just because a weapon uses Dex does not make it finesse. Keep that in mind. Sneak attack will only work with weapons that have the finesse property. Level 2 rogues receive cunning action. Dash, disengage, and hide are bonus actions to you. Level 2 monks gain dedicated weapon. Now you can turn one weapon you are proficient with that lacks the heavy or special properties into a monk weapon after a long rest, which means it will use your dex for attack and damage. Turn that long sword into a katana because katanas would be dex-based weapons. Unarmored movement makes you faster when not wearing armor. Your speed is now 40 feet unless you went with a lineage that starts off faster than 30. Ki grants you ki points that you can use to perform special moves. You regain all used ki points after 30 minutes of meditation. For these moves, Flurry of Blows lets you make 2 unarmed strikes with a bonus action after taking the attack action for 1 ki point. Step of the Wind turns dash or disengage into bonus actions, which you already can do, but also doubles your jump distance for 1 minute. Patient Defense turns dodge into a bonus action for 1 point, and this is the one for you. By taking the dodge action, you can give yourself advantage on dex saves and cause all attacks against you to be at disadvantage until the start of your next turn. Level 3 monks now have access to their subclass. I know you all know where I've been heading with this one. Way of the Kensai from Xanathar's. Path of the Kensai gives you special Kensai weapons. These are monk weapons that can be any weapon that doesn't have the heavy or special property, but longbow can still be chosen if you wanted to. You start off with 2 Kensai weapons, 1 range and 1 melee. Choose a pistol or a hand crossbow if your DM doesn't allow firearms, and any melee weapon you want. Agile Parry turns your melee Kensai weapon into a defensive weapon. While holding your Kensai weapon but attacking with the unarmed strike only, you can gain +2 to your AC until the start of your next turn. Kensai Shot lets you add more damage to your ranged Kensai weapons. By using your bonus action until the end of your current turn, all your ranged attacks with your Kensai weapon deal an extra 1d4 damage. Way of the Brush gives you proficiency in either calligraphy tools or painter's tools. Deflect Missile allows you to reduce damage you take from ranged attacks. With a reaction, you reduce the damage by 1d10 plus your dex plus monk level. If you reduce the damage to 0 and have an open hand, you can spend 1 key point as part of your reaction to throw it back. You've reached character level 5. Bump up your proficiency bonus to +3. Level 4 monks earn our first ability score improvement, bump up dex for better shots and dodging skills. Slow Fall lets you reduce falling damage you take with a reaction by 5 times your monk level. Quickened Healing lets you heal yourself by spending 2 key points and rolling a martial arts dice and adding your proficiency bonus. Level 5 monks gain extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single attack action. Stunning Strike lets you stun enemies you hit. When you hit an enemy, you can spend 1 key point to force a con save. Should they fail, they are now stunned until the end of your next turn. A stunned enemy cannot move, take actions or reactions, can barely speak, automatically fail strength and dex saves, and all attacks against them are at advantage. Focused Aim turns combat into your favor. When you miss with an attack, you can spend up to 3 key points. If you do so, you add +2 to the attack roll for each point spent. Finally, your martial arts dice are now a d6. Level 6 monks receive key-empowered strikes and magical Kensai weapons. Your unarmed strikes and Kensai weapons now deal magical damage. Death Strike lets you add more damage to your Kensai weapons. Now when you hit with a Kensai weapon, you can spend 1 key point to add a martial arts dice to the damage. You can do this once per turn. You also get a new Kensai weapon, go with another firearm that is in your setting, or if your DM didn't allow firearms, another crossbow. To end this level, your unarmored movement is now 45 feet. Level 7 monks now have evasion. This improves your dex saves, so now you don't take damage when you succeed on them, and only half damage on a failure. Stillness of Mind lets you end effects on yourself with an action that are causing you to be frightened or charmed. Your character level 9 now, bump up your proficiency bonus to +4. Level 8 monks earn another ability score improvement to cap off dex. Level 9 monks get a major upgrade to their unarmored movement. Now when not wearing armor, you can run across liquid surfaces and up vertical surfaces. You can't stand on them, so you will fall if you stop. Level 3 rogues now have access to their subclass. Inquisitive from Xanathar's grants you a better eye for things. Ear for Deceit improves your insight rolls to determine whether someone is lying. Now you can never roll lower than an 8 to do so. Eye for Detail turns perception checks to spot hidden creatures or investigation checks to uncover clues into a bonus action for you. Remember, unless stated by your DM, making skill checks in combat is an action. Plenty of tables don't care, but this is a rule. Insightful Fighting gives you a new way to make sneak attacks. Now as a bonus action, you choose a creature you can see. You now force a contest between your insight versus their deception. If you win, you can now use your sneak attack against them as long as you don't have disadvantage on the attack. You know, like standing next to someone with a ranged weapon would be at a disadvantage, but because of Gunner that doesn't happen for you. What I'm saying is aim for the kneecaps. This lasts for 1 minute or until you use this feature again on another creature. There is a debate on whether Insightful Fighting and Ear for Deceit work together, and I know a few of you will try it, so talk to your DM first about how they feel it works. Steady Aim lets you give yourself advantage on an attack. On a turn you haven't moved, you can use your bonus action to reduce your speed to 0 to the end of your current turn, and now you have advantage on your next attack. To end this out, your sneak attack is upgraded to 2d6 extra damage. Level 4 rogues earn another ability score improvement. Let's grab a feat. Sharpshooter from the player's handbook is all ranged loving warriors dream of. Your ranged weapons now ignore half and 3/4 cover. You can now fire your ranged weapon at its maximum range without taking disadvantage on the shot, and before you fire your shot you can take a -5 penalty to it, and if you hit you will add +10 to the damage. I love this feat, it's one of my favorites. We've hit character level 13, raise your proficiency bonus again to +5. Level 5 rogues gain Uncanny Dodge. You can now use your reaction to have damage you take when you see what is causing the damage. Your sneak attack is now upgraded to 3d6 extra damage. Level 6 rogues receive 2 more expertise. Place this into Perception and Insight. Level 7 rogues get nothing because evasion doesn't stack, but you actually do get something here. Your sneak attack is now 4d6 extra damage. Yeah, it's a little bit of a wasted level, but I wanted to get crazy kung fu fighting first. Level 8 rogues earn another ability score improvement. Start raising wisdom for better AC, perception, and insight. Milestone time. Your character level 17, maxing out your proficiency bonus at +6 or +12 for any of your expertise skills. Level 9 Inquisitive rogues receive Steady Eye. You now have advantage on perception or investigation checks when you move no more than half your speed in a turn, which is 20 feet for you. Your sneak attack is now upgraded to 5d6 extra damage. Level 10 rogues earn our final ability score improvement, Cap Off Wisdom. Our final level is level 11 rogues, and you get my favorite feature just really late in the game. Reliable talent means whenever you roll any skill check that you are proficient with, you can never roll lower than 10. Combine this with skills that already have expertise means you're already adding +22 before adding your modifier. Finally, to cap this off, your sneak attack is now 6d6 extra damage. Now that we've hit level 20, let's recap. Your stats are Strength 12, Dex 20, Con 13, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 20, Charisma 8. Your total levels are Monk 9, Rogue 11. Let's dive in. Your bonuses to skills are crazy. Firstly, acrobatics, perception, and insight can never be lower than 27 on a roll. Moving only 20 feet, perception now is at advantage. Insightful fighting is going to work most of the time unless you're going against someone with a really good charisma. For your shots, there's even more crazy. Your attacks are at +11, your max range with a pistol is 90 feet, you can ignore everything but total cover, the shot is magical, you can add 1d6 plus 1d4 extra damage, and then add another 6d6 with sneak attack. Hell, if you want to bring down your attack to a +6, you will be able to add 10 to the damage if you hit. Don't like that -5? Guess what? You can give yourself advantage on the shot by using a bonus action, and then spend key points to add up to +6 to the shot if you miss. Finally, your movement is pure insanity. I know I've been saying crazy a lot in this section, but come on, Gun Fu is insane. You can give disadvantage to attacks against you, your acrobatics is through the roof, your total movement is 45 feet, can dash as a bonus action for 90 feet, your dex saves are great, you can run up walls or across water, and your AC is 20. Downside. Well, firstly, your charisma sucks. Not the most targeted stat, but still. You also have a lot of different things you can do, so you're going to be taking a lot of time looking at your sheet during games. But when you know what your character can do, this will move faster. Just tell the other players not to complain and bring a book till then. You also have some resource management with 9 key points, but that's not really a big deal. But who cares about the cons? This build lets you do the one thing every player wishes they can do. Never embarrass themselves when they say, I do a flip. Seriously, how many of you have witnessed or been that one player that describes a crazy stunt then falls flat on their face? This build will never allow that. Though if I'm being honest, it will be much more hilarious when it does happen because of how high your rolls will be. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss a single new build each week on YouTube and Spotify, and make sure to check out my Patreon where you can help decide next week's new character.